You won't believe what happened when a man found a trapped bear. Imagine walking alone in the forest. The air is still, and then you hear it. Deep, heavy breathing. Something massive is watching you. What would you do? Most people would run. But this man, he followed the sound, and what happened next? And no one saw it coming. This hook guarantees maximum engagement. Should I continue with the full script now? You won't believe what happened when a man found a trapped bear. Imagine walking alone in the forest. The air is still, and then you hear it. Deep, heavy breathing. Something massive is watching you. What would you do? Most people would run. But this man, he followed the sound, and what happened next? And no one saw it coming. Deep in the wilderness, where the trees stand tall and the world is ruled by nature, a hunter moves carefully. His boots crunch against the damp earth as he kneels, setting a trap. It's a cruel, rusted metal cage, baited with raw meat. His target? A small animal, maybe a fox, a raccoon, or a lone wolf. Something valuable. Something he can sell. He sets the trigger, checks his surroundings, then disappears into the trees, waiting. But tonight, the forest has different plans. Because something far bigger than he expected is watching. A massive, powerful grizzly bear. And soon, she's walking straight toward the trap. The metal cage slams shut with a deafening clang. Instantly, the bear thrashes. Her growls shake the air, echoing through the trees. She rams her body against the bars, but the cage doesn't budge. She claws at the ground, desperate. Her massive paws scrape against the metal, trying to find an escape. But there's none. Her breathing is heavy, ragged. Her muscles tremble with fear. The night is quiet except for her desperate struggle. And then she lets out a sound that no one expects. Not a growl, not a roar, a low, gut-wrenching whimper. The kind only a mother makes when she knows something is terribly, terribly wrong. Miles away, Jake is hiking through the forest. He loves the wilderness, the silence, the peace. But tonight, something is off. Then he hears it, a deep, sorrowful cry. It's not the usual sounds of the forest. It's different. Urgent, desperate. Jake stops listening. His gut tightens. Because this isn't just an animal sound. It's a plea for help. For a moment, his instincts scream at him to turn back. A bear's cry in the middle of the night? It's a warning sign. Stay away. Stay safe. But something pulls him forward. Carefully, cautiously, he moves toward the sound. And then he sees it. A massive bear. Trapped. Helpless. Terrified, and in that moment, something inside him changes. Jake's heart pounds. His brain floods with warnings. A trapped bear is dangerous, unpredictable. It could lash out at any moment. He takes a step closer, and the bear's eyes lock onto his. Not with anger, not with aggression, but with fear, with pleading. Jake swallows hard. He knows he's staring at a mother, and something tells him she's not alone. Then he notices something strange. She's not trying to attack him. She's not even focused on escaping anymore. She keeps glancing toward the trees, toward something unseen. And then Jake realizes she's not crying for herself. She's crying for her baby. Jake's breath catches. There's something else in the shadows. Then movement. Small, weak, unsteady. A tiny cub stumbles out from behind a tree. Jake's stomach twists. The cub isn't just scared, it's sick, weak, barely able to stand. And suddenly, everything makes sense. This mother bear wasn't caught while hunting. She was trying to get food for her starving baby. And now, she's trapped, helpless, watching her cub suffer with no way to save it. Jake feels a lump in his throat. This isn't just survival. This is a mother's worst nightmare. And Jake knows if he does nothing, both of them will die. Jake takes a deep breath. He knows what he has to do, but it's insane. It's suicidal. He has to free the bear. One wrong move, she could turn on him in seconds. But he doesn't have time to think. Carefully, he steps closer. The bear watches him. Silent. Still. He kneels, his hand shaking as he inspects the cage's lock. It's old. Rusted. He can break it, but it'll take time. And that means one thing. He has to trust her. Jake works fast. His fingers fumble with the lock. He's sweating, shaking. The mother bear doesn't move. She just watches. Seconds stretch into eternity. Then a snap. The lock breaks. The cage door swings open. For a single breathless moment, nothing happens. Jake freezes. Then the bear steps forward. Jake braces himself. His muscles tense. But the bear doesn't attack. She just stands there, looking at him. Then she turns. She walks past him, straight to her cub. She nuzzles the tiny creature, gently, carefully. And then Jake hears it. A soft, weak, but very real cry. The cub is still alive. And now it has a chance. Jake watches in silence. The mother bear licks her cub's head, comforting it. Then she turns, looks at him. A long, deep stare. Not of threat, not of anger, but of understanding. A silent thank you. Jake feels his heart swell. And just like that, the mother bear gently picks up her cub and vanishes into the darkness of the trees, leaving Jake standing there, changed forever. Jake never saw her again. But that night, he didn't just save an animal. He witnessed something most people never will. A mother's desperation, a plea for help, a trust that shouldn't have existed, but did. And it left him with one haunting thought. We think of the wild as untamed. But sometimes it's not just surviving its suffering. And when it calls on us, will we listen? Jake stands there, heart pounding, staring at the massive bear trapped in the cold, rusted cage. Every instinct screams at him to turn back, to leave before it's too late. But then he glances at the tiny cub, barely able to stand, its weak cries cutting through the silence. Jake grits his teeth. No, he can't walk away. He won't. Slowly, too slowly, Jake moves forward. The bear notices. Her entire body tenses. A deep, warning growl rumbles in her throat. A final warning. Jake's chest tightens. One wrong move, she'll rip him apart. But instead of backing away, he lowers his hands, shows he's not a threat. Then he speaks. I'm here to help. The bear stares, breathing heavy, muscles locked. Then she stops growling. She just watches, like she understands. Jake kneels. The cage lock is old, rusted, but strong. His hands? Shaking. The bear? Watching. His fingers fumble with the latch. Sweat drips down his temple. One lock opens. Jake swallows hard. He's halfway there. The bear shifts slightly. Her breathing slow, steady, waiting. Then the second lock pops free. Jake holds his breath. Then, boom, the cage door swings open. And in that split second, Jake realizes one terrifying thing. Nothing is stopping her now. Jake braces himself. Every muscle in his body locks. His breath stuck in his throat. This is it. The cage is open. Nothing is stopping her now. She could lunge, attack, tear him apart in seconds. But instead, she doesn't move. Jake watches, frozen, as the massive bear simply stands there, not growling, not charging, not seeking revenge, just breathing, studying him. Her deep, dark eyes lock onto his. There's something in them. Not anger, not fear. Something else. Recognition. Understanding. Then something unbelievable happens. The unexpected thank you. The bear steps forward. Jake's pulse skyrockets. He fights every instinct telling him to run. Then the bear nudges him. Not a shove, not an attack. A gentle, slow nudge like a whisper, like a thank you. Jake stares, stunned. No aggression, no fury, no revenge, just respect. A moment no one would believe. And then, without a sound, she turns, walks past him, straight to her cub. Jake stands there, watching the mother bear disappear into trees, her tiny cub safely by her side. His heart is still racing, his hands still shaking, but his mind, it's filled with one question. Do you think animals understand gratitude? Was that nudge just instinct, or was it something deeper? Something we still don't fully understand? Comment yes if you believe, or NO if you think it was just survival. Teaser for the next unbelievable story. And if you think this was shocking, Wait till you hear about the man who survived a night with wolves. Coming soon. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.